Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show. I am your host, Ginny. Today, we kick off with some exciting news from the fitness world. Pure, a popular Hong Kong gym chain favored by the city's financial elites, has secured over $50 million in fresh funding. This investment, coming from Primavera Capital and existing shareholders like FountainVest Partners, will help the company pay down debts and strengthen its global presence. Despite facing challenges like high rents and stiff competition, Pure is seeing a membership boom, with a 35% increase in new signups from September to June. Stay tuned for more details. Next, we look at the roller coaster in Asian markets following Wall Street's recent decline. Major indices across the region, including Japan's Nikkei and Australia's S&P ASX 200, fell by around 1% or more, influenced by fears of interest rate hikes and geopolitical tensions. The U.S. markets also dipped, with the S&P 500 and Dow Jones retreating amid political drama, including President Trump's firing of a Federal Reserve Board member. Bond yields nudged higher as investors await potential rate cuts, while commodity prices fluctuated. It's a cautious time for investors, so keep an eye out for more updates. Finally, Hong Kong stocks experienced a slight slip today, with profit-taking amid ongoing uncertainties about U.S. interest rate policies and U.S.-China trade talks. The Hang Seng Index dropped 0.3%, and tech stocks like Alibaba and Anta Sports saw declines. Meanwhile, U.S. markets had already fallen earlier in the day, influenced by Federal Reserve comments and political developments. But don't worry, some U.S.-China trade negotiations are showing signs of progress, with a Chinese negotiator heading to Washington. As the market navigates these choppy waters, analysts suggest staying alert for future shifts. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. The South China Morning Post reports that Pure, a prestigious Hong Kong gym chain favored by the city's financial elite, is receiving a vital financial boost of over $50 million from investors including Primavera Capital and FountainVest Partners. This infusion of equity capital aims to significantly reduce Pure's debt by 3/4, primarily by repaying a 3-year private loan from Primavera. Amidst a challenging environment marked by high rental costs and stiff competition, Pure has also been negotiating rent reductions with landlords and exploring other liquidity-enhancing measures, as it continues to serve its affluent clientele with 38 facilities worldwide, maintaining its niche in the city's fitness scene. Meanwhile, the Associated Press details a somber tone across Asian markets, where stocks declined broadly following a dip on Wall Street. Major indices like Japan's Nikkei 225 and Australia's S&P ASX 200 fell as investors reacted to the previous day's losses on Wall Street, driven by concerns over Federal Reserve interest rate policies. Despite some optimism about potential rate cuts, the market experienced a pullback, with healthcare stocks like Pfizer and Eli Lilly suffering significant declines, while tech giants such as Alphabet and Nvidia provided some support. Bond yields rose slightly, reflecting ongoing expectations of a rate cut in September, amidst political developments such as President Trump's controversial move to dismiss a Fed governor amid broader geopolitical tensions. The South China Morning Post also reports that Hong Kong stocks experienced a modest decline of 0.3% on Tuesday, as investors took profits amid uncertainty about the U.S. Federal Reserve's next move on interest rates and ongoing U.S.-China trade negotiations. The Hang Seng Index and tech sector faced pressure from profit-taking, with Chinese companies like Alibaba and Anta Sports posting declines after disappointing earnings. The market's cautious mood was compounded by geopolitical tensions, with President Trump publicly threatening to remove a Fed governor and imposing tariffs on China's rare earth magnets. This environment of mixed signals and geopolitical maneuvering has kept Asian markets on edge, reflecting global economic uncertainties and the delicate balance of trade and monetary policies. South China Morning Post reports that Chengdu, Sichuan's capital, has earned its reputation as a culinary gem through a sophisticated and nuanced approach to its rich food traditions. While many outsiders associate Sichuan cuisine solely with fiery heat, the city's culinary scene reveals a delicate balance of flavors, techniques, and regional variations. Historically, the region's cuisine predates chili peppers, with ancient flavors of ginger and scallions, and today, Chengdu's chefs focus on harmony, restraint, and refinement, emphasizing technique over mere spiciness. The city's culinary culture is deeply rooted in its long history, with locals cherishing traditional hot pot, street snacks, and tea houses, and embracing new trends that highlight craftsmanship and authenticity, all while maintaining a resilient, optimistic spirit despite past hardships like earthquakes and the pandemic. The South China Morning Post also highlights the recent surge of Chinese energy storage companies, particularly Shuangding Group, whose Hong Kong debut saw its shares skyrocket by 55% on opening day. As part of China's booming green energy sector, Shuangding benefits from the global push towards electric vehicles and renewable energy, with plans to expand manufacturing in Southeast Asia and R&D in China. This IPO boom is fueled by investor enthusiasm for battery and energy storage firms, with several major players like CATL and Sunwoda also raising significant funds in Hong Kong. The market's appetite is driven by China's strategic focus on technological innovation and international expansion, positioning these companies as key players in the global clean energy landscape, and reflecting Hong Kong's status as a major financial hub for Chinese tech and green energy firms. Finally, South China Morning Post reports a notable trend in Hong Kong's university entrance exams, where non-day school candidates, mainly mainland Chinese students and private candidates, are increasingly achieving top scores. Over the past 2 years, the number of these candidates securing the highest grades has surged dramatically, especially in core subjects like Chinese, English, and mathematics. This rise is attributed to rigorous preparation, targeted tuition, and selective entry practices in mainland schools. The trend raises concerns about the competitive landscape for local students, as these private candidates, often with higher discipline and resources, outperform their Hong Kong counterparts. The shift underscores the growing influence of mainland education strategies and the evolving dynamics of university admissions in Hong Kong, prompting discussions about fairness and the future of local education amid increasing cross-border academic exchanges. South China Morning Post vividly captures the decline of Hong Kong's small stockbrokers, painting a picture of a once thriving industry now facing a quiet but relentless retreat. Despite a booming market with record-breaking IPOs and soaring daily trading volumes, nearly 200 small brokers have shuttered their doors since 2020, a stark contrast to the bustling scene of the 1980s and the post-2000 boom when hundreds thrived. The story highlights the mounting pressures from stricter regulations, rising compliance costs, and the shift of investor preferences towards online trading platforms, which many small brokers have been reluctant or unable to adopt. The new IPO allotment rules, which favor institutional investors and reduce retail allocations, further squeeze these smaller players, leaving them with a shrinking market share while industry giants and online platforms expand their reach. Industry insiders describe a landscape where only the most adaptable, those investing in digital infrastructure or diversifying their services, are managing to survive and even thrive amid the turbulence. The South China Morning Post also explores the broader regional implications of U.S. trade policies on Southeast Asia's aviation sector, revealing a complex picture of resilience amid uncertainty. While the region's airlines enjoy robust bookings, buoyed by strong leisure travel and cargo demand, analysts warn that the escalating U.S. tariffs and trade tensions could soon undermine this momentum. The Asian Development Bank's downgraded growth forecast for 2025 reflects concerns over weakened global trade flows, with tariffs on steel, semiconductors, and other sectors disrupting traditional supply chains. Nonetheless, Southeast Asia's airports are pressing ahead with expansion projects, from Singapore's new terminal to Vietnam's Long Ton Airport, based on long-term fundamentals that remain intact despite short-term headwinds. Industry experts emphasize that, although trade conflicts have started to redirect trade routes and slightly dampen discretionary travel, the region's aviation industry continues to show remarkable resilience, with high passenger growth projections and ongoing infrastructure investments signaling confidence in the region's long-term potential. The South China Morning Post brings to life the inspiring story of Coleman Wong, a young tennis prodigy from Hong Kong who has etched his name into history with a landmark victory at the US Open. At just 21, Wong's triumph in winning his first main draw singles match, becoming the first Hong Kong male player to do so since the Open era began in 1968, symbolizes hope and burgeoning talent from a city not traditionally known for tennis dominance. His journey from training at Rafa Nadal's academy in Spain to sharing joyful moments with fellow trailblazer Alexandra Ila underscores the global and inclusive nature of modern tennis. Wong's enthusiasm and readiness to face future challenges, including his upcoming match against Adam Walton, reflect a mindset of determination and resilience. His story captures the essence of aspiration, illustrating how young athletes from less prominent tennis nations are now stepping into the limelight, inspiring a new generation and transforming perceptions of what is possible for Hong Kong in the world of professional sports. According to South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's office leasing market has experienced a steady resurgence, marking its fourth consecutive month of growth in July. Despite this positive trend, the city's prime office rents continued to decline by 0.5% from the previous month, primarily driven by tenants seeking high-quality spaces at softer rental rates. Notably, areas like Kowloon East and Hong Kong East saw the most significant improvements in vacancy rates, with reductions of 0.5 and 0.2 percentage points respectively, as the market absorbed a substantial 463,000 square feet of space from April to July. However, rents across the city's prime districts, including Central, fell further, by 0.2%, highlighting the ongoing impact of high vacancy levels and landlords offering incentives to attract tenants. Colliers reported the sale of office units at Shengwan Shun Tax Center, a prominent Grade A building with excellent connectivity, amidst a cautious business outlook where only 28% of firms expressed optimism for the year ahead, and a majority plan to maintain or reduce their office footprints. The Associated Press details Venus Williams' inspiring return to Grand Slam tennis at the US Open after a 2-year hiatus, at age 45, making her the oldest singles player in the tournament since 1981. Williams, a legendary figure with 23 Grand Slam singles titles and multiple Olympic medals, faced a formidable challenge against 11th seed Karolina Muchova in her first match since undergoing surgery for uterine fibroids and recovering from a lengthy absence. Her career has been marked by iconic victories at Flushing Meadows in 2000 and 2001, and her resilience continues as she balances her passion for the game with the realities of aging and recent health setbacks. Williams' appearance at the US Open symbolizes her relentless pursuit of excellence, even as she navigates the difficulties of limited recent play, with her goal simply to enjoy the competition and perform at her personal best. CBC reports on the devastating impact of Typhoon Kajiki on Vietnam's northern coast, where fierce winds and heavy rains caused widespread destruction and mass evacuations. The storm, which intensified rapidly from a tropical depression to a powerful typhoon, brought wind speeds up to 166 km/h, uprooting trees, flooding homes, and cutting power in several areas. Nearly 600,000 residents across provinces like Thanh Hoa, Quang Tri, Hue, and Da Nang were evacuated as authorities mobilized thousands of soldiers and paramilitary personnel to assist with rescue efforts. The storm also affected China, particularly Hainan Island and Guangdong, where thousands of residents were evacuated, and at least one person in Vietnam lost their life due to electrocution. Experts warn that climate change is accelerating the intensity and speed of such storms, with scientists noting that rising sea temperatures are causing cyclones to form closer to land, grow stronger faster, and last longer, trends that threaten the safety and stability of vulnerable coastal communities across Southeast Asia. South China Morning Post vividly captures the deep-rooted bond between Hong Kong and Beijing through the lens of their palace museums. The article describes a heartfelt declaration of fraternal love made within the historic Jinfu Palace, where the directors of both the Beijing Palace Museum and the Hong Kong Palace Museum, HKPM, expressed their close relationship, likening it to that of brothers. This symbolic gesture underscores the ongoing support and collaboration, exemplified by upcoming loans of priceless artifacts scheduled for 2026 and shared exhibitions celebrating the museum's centenaries. The narrative details how mainland China's backing has propelled HKPM's growth, with a significant portion of its visitors being mainland tourists, and highlights the role of prominent figures like Ronnie Chan in reconstructing historic sites such as the Palace of Established Happiness, which now hosts VIP events and presidential dinners. The story also delves into the historical context of Hong Kong's involvement in safeguarding Chinese cultural relics during turbulent decades, with notable donations from local patrons like Stanley Ho and Lo Kuisong, emphasizing a century-long cultural nexus. Despite political tensions affecting cross-strait collaborations, the article remains optimistic about future exchanges, particularly with the upcoming northern branch of the Palace Museum in Beijing, which promises to house an extensive collection of over 1.9 million objects. The South China Morning Post further explores the vibrant sports scene in Hong Kong, focusing on the potential revival of the Premier League Asia Trophy through ongoing negotiations. The report vividly recounts recent large-scale football events, such as matches involving Arsenal, Liverpool, and AC Milan, which drew nearly 100,000 fans at Kai Tak Stadium, and the Saudi Super Cup games that attracted about 60,000 spectators at Hong Kong Stadium. Promoter Paul Kam expresses enthusiasm about bringing the Premier League trophy back to Hong Kong, emphasizing the city's growing reputation as a hub for top-tier preseason football. The article details past successes of the Asia Trophy, the interest of international clubs, and the plans of companies like TG Sport to host more high-profile matches, reflecting a thriving football culture. However, behind the scenes, issues such as last-minute arrangements and logistical frustrations with Saudi organizers reveal the challenges of staging such events. The story underscores Hong Kong's strategic importance in global football, its fans' passion, and the economic benefits of hosting world-class tournaments, all while hinting at a promising future for the city's sports entertainment scene. SCMP opinion poignantly highlights the urgent need to improve care for Hong Kong's vulnerable populations amid increasingly intense heat waves. The article paints a stark picture of how low-income residents, the homeless, and tenants in subdivided flats suffer disproportionately during hot weather, lacking adequate cooling facilities. While the government provides temporary heat shelters, many are deterred by inconvenient locations, insufficient privacy, and safety concerns, with around 65% of those in need never having used them. The narrative emphasizes the importance of establishing more accessible and comfortable facilities, especially at heat hotspots, and advocates for better promotion of these resources. It also discusses the plight of tenants in poorly maintained flats, where extreme temperatures threaten health and safety, calling for stricter cooling standards and financial support for electricity costs. The article concludes with a somber reminder that climate change will likely intensify these challenges, urging policymakers to prioritize vulnerable communities' safety and well-being as temperatures continue to rise. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. we encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
News breaks, buzz the ground, stories spin, walls come down, voices merge in the sound, faces mix in the crowd, broadcasters paint the scene, world events on our screen, every link a different theme, words collide in the stream, 6 degrees connect the dots, background stories more than us. Hear the voices rise aloud, truth unveils in every spot, cultures clash across the globe, spin the threads in a strobe, every story wears a robe, truth and lies in their code, journalists dig real deep, secrets out, they don't sleep, every angle they will keep. In the news we take a leap, new perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play, in the background shades of gray, every story finds its way. New perspectives day by day.